Welcome back to Boxes of Lights. So let's start the game with the first event. It is a little Ice Age sea ice. One thing to note here straight away, and this is something that you need to be aware of with the Solitaire variant. If you see this global cooling icon, ignore it on the first turn. Right, so we're going to ignore this one. Heavy sea ice interrupts the arrival of the migratory sea mammals and the supply ships. Only the non-migratory ringed seals can be hunted, which use clawed feet to make breathing holes in the ice. First thing to do when you draw an event card is look to see who first player is. This icon in the top left here is yellow, so first player is yellow. If you're playing two-player and one of the cultures is removed, remember, if you're playing two-player and the yellow culture is removed, then instead you look at the colour of the font. So in this case, playing two-player, and if yellow wasn't in the game, then green would be first player. And we don't have a first player token, so I'm going to use something that's kind of thematic. Let's just use my Ragnar Lothbrok token. So yellow is first player. Next we resolve all the icons from left to right. So what this tells us is this turn there's no maritime hunting. Then we have a feud, and remember I told you Solitaire we ignore, or Cooperative we ignore this one on the first turn. Now what no maritime hunting means, and you see that I had this canoe crossed out, each one of these biomes has a symbol in the top right. Okay, these ones here have the canoe, so we can't go hunting in these biomes. That's what it's telling us. On this turn, those places are out of bounds. Now for the feud, this one is going to affect all cultures who don't have a chieftain, a rank 1 elder. And obviously for the start of the game we all have a rank 1 elder because that's how we started things, but there is potential to lose these as we go along. So we're lucky. This first event really isn't going to do a great deal to us in terms of affecting us. If it had affected us then we would be decimated. So I didn't have an elder here, then I would lose half my unassigned hunters and one of my elders. Every culture without a rank 1 elder. Okay, that's the event done. Now we'll do hunter assignment and we'll start with first player. Now one thing to note is elder rank number 4, the war chief, says if we're the first player then we could designate anyone else as the first player. Alright, you're playing cooperatively, but starting things off like that, it doesn't really make a difference who goes first and who doesn't. And before we start assigning our hunters, let me tell you how these hunts work. If, let's say, I can't go maritime hunting, but let's say I assigned all my hunters to go hunt these hooded seal. Each one of these hunters represents a die roll. Okay, so with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hunters here, I can roll 6 dice. And with those 6 dice, I need to roll a number of successes, which is determined in top left here. And it says I need 2 successes. There's 2 dice symboled here. And for one of those dice to be a success, it needs to show a 1 or a 2. As these things move over to the cold side, only 1s will be considered successes. So that's what my hunters are going to do. Now there's some things you can do to mitigate those die rolls a little bit, and these are to do with the special abilities of your daughters and cards that you bring into your tableau, and also some of your elders. So for example, for the tool, if I have a shaman here, then I may re-roll any 3s if I'm hunting in a maritime biome. Okay, this is what this symbol here means. This may, it says may re-roll 3s on this canoe. Okay, similarly this tracker here, elder number 5. I've got a tracker elder and I'm hunting in a land biome, that's what this sled represents. I may re-roll 3s and 4s if and only if I have the tracker. Lose the tracker, lose the ability. But also these daughters give you some specials. So you can see Karima here, the tool daughter, she can re-roll 4s in maritime, and it also means the yellow player gets to hunt first. And that's really only applicable if more than one culture is trying to hunt in the same biome. Again, not an issue playing solitaire or cooperatively, or shouldn't be. The next thing to be aware of are the 4 different kinds of cards that you see up here in North and South Greenland. New Worlds we already talked about. These are places you can send your hunters, but they will become colonists and they go there, and colonists are kind of stay there and they colonize these new lands, but the rewards for staying here are pretty good. The other type are these with the I, and there's also some with D. There aren't any in the tableau to show you, but they look just like this, but they got a D here instead. I cards are inventions. You can go and you can take these into your hand to kind of acquire those inventions. Similarly for Ds, but they're domesticated animals. So you can go and take the animals and you can bring them into your tableau, and they'll be providing you resources every turn, every generation. And then the final type are these others here, which are neither I, D, not New Worlds, but they're places where you can go and hunt, and they're giving you primarily resources. So for example, here we have some bird cliffs. Here we have the beluga whale. Now this one, if you're successful here, will give you 3 babies. In other words, 3 new cubes, 3 new hunters for the next generation, and 2 energy, 2 orange discs. The bird cliffs will give you 2 babies. Okay, so this will sustain 2 more hunters for the next generation. The other thing you can do, again, you can do this single solitaire, but it makes no sense. If you wish, and primarily for multiplayer, if you get, and these dice here represent, when you're hunting, these 3 dice here represents a triplet, 3 dice showing the same value, 3 5s for example, then you can take this into your tableau as 3 victory points. Alright, but you're not going to be seeing that in the solitaire game. Finally is the distinction between North and South Greenland. The icons in the top right, remember that told you what type of biome it was, whether it's land or maritime, a fishing spot, or indeed a place where you can go and mine, so metallurgy. They're coloured either yellow and green, which means that this is the homeland of the Thule and the Tunit, or red, this is the homeland of the Norse. All cultures can freely hunt in their homeland, but to move outside of their homeland, and this includes the 2 New Worlds, they don't exist in their homeland, so the yellow and green players, they can hunt here, the red player can hunt here. Anyone can hunt outside of their homeland if they have the right kind of transport. If we look at the Norse player here, a mariner, and they behave the same for all cultures. If you have an elder who's rank 6, a mariner, then you can deliver up to 4 hunters into a New World or into North Greenland. And similarly for the Thule and the Tunit, right? They're rank 6 mariners, allow them to go to either New Land or South Greenland. You lose your rank 6 elder, you can no longer travel to those places. There's one other form of transport, and that's the sled. In fact, the pony, which was the flip side to the settlement gauge, gives you the sled, and the sled allows you to take any number of hunters to a single biome outside of your homeland. Okay, so methods of transportation, you'll need them to get around. With that explanation, now perhaps it will make more sense when I start assigning hunters. Now here's a good place, Cape York Meteorite. It's a metallurgy place. It's going to give me some iron, and I only need 1 success. So I'm going to assign my Alpha Hunter here, and when we come to resolve the hunt, I'll show you what that does. I've got 5 more hunters left. Remember, my Mariner allows me to send up to 4 of them to either New World or to Southern Greenland. I'm going to take 4 of them, and I can't go maritime hunting, remember, because of our event, so these places can't be visited. So using my Mariner, I'm going to send these 4 hunters off to the New World. Now the other thing to remember, the Mariner will allow you to take things to a New World, but the sled can't. Sleds don't work taking hunters here. And then finally, I'm going to send a hunter to seek out this equipment over here. If I can get this invention, then it's going to help improve my fishing capacity, because what this says, if I manage to get this in my tableau, it says every roll of a 3 I can turn into a 1. Now remember, 1s are successes. So this is the way inventions improve your ability to hunt. Right, that's yellow done. That's all their hunters assigned. Now let's have a look at the green player, the Tunit. And the Tunit's daughters, they give me some rerolls when I go fishing, so they're good at fishing. The other thing is that Nelii here can promote hunters for 0 wood cost. So as well as sending hunters off to hunt, you can actually turn some of your unassigned hunters into elders. Now normally to promote, and it says up here promote, and it's got this little fire symbol, normally it would cost you one of these tokens. Now you know how these orange tokens might help you. But what I'm going to do instead, for 0 wood cost, I'm going to promote one of my hunters to an artisan. And the thing about artisans are they allow you to convert iron or ivory into inventions. Okay? And every artisan increases your hand size by 1. At the start of the game, your hand size is 0. Right? If I want to take cards, inventions and domesticated animals into my hand, I need artisans. So with 2 elders here, I can have a hand size of 2. Okay, if I had no elders here, I've got a hand size of 0. So what I've done there is protected Tunit's ability to hold cards in hand. If one of their artisans dies, they've still got 1 left. Now as it goes for the other cultures, this isn't such a problem. The Gita here, from the Norse, gives a hand size plus 2, so they already start with the hand size plus 2 plus their artisan 3. And for the tool, they have a plus 1 hand size, but only for D cards, only for domesticated animals, not for inventions. So again, this is something that may still be a problem for the tool. And once more, remember we have a mariner, so we can send up to 4 to a New World or Southern Greenland. So why don't we try and get some iron production going. Now, I could send them here, but the problem is I've already put a hunter here. That was the yellow player. If we both try and hunt the same thing, then we're going to be competing. And in multiplayer, that's fine. The player with the most hunters there will go first. So why don't we look down here instead at the cold forging process. We can send up to 4 workers there, remember. So let's do that. Let's put 4 here. Let's keep things simple for the first round. And then we'll put my alpha hunter here on the Arctic cod. Now it's the time of the Norse. Okay, let's see, what can we do? Why don't we work on our population? And I could send some hunters to Vinland. You're not limited to just one culture being successful hunting here. Multiple cultures here will all be successful. They will all get a chance to be successful. They get a chance to hunt. I might go for these bird cliffs. In fact, I'm going to put my alpha here. We're going to try and grab these wooden maps. And I see no reason why. We have a mariner, so we can go north. We'll have a crack at the ringed seal. Okay, that's all our hunter assignment done. Now we get to move into the negotiate and attack phase. Now as you can imagine, solitaire, there's less action going on here. But during multiplayer, things like the goats, you might send one of your hunters off to raid. And what that means is this goat's going to give a new baby for the next generation at the end of the term, towards the end of the term. But what you can do here is raid. A 1 is a success, and thereby steal the benefits of the goat. Now obviously playing solitaire, there's not a great deal of incentive for doing raids. But the other thing that can happen is that, you know, if you've got multiple cultures fighting over the same biome, you can negotiate and you can make deals with each other to have another guy withdraw. You're free to kind of make the price and create little barters amongst yourselves. However, there is something that the solitaire game does allow. What you'll notice is this exogeny box down on each daughter. Now normally during the negotiations phase, if you negotiate with another player, normally as a result of raiding, you can take one of your hunters, unassigned or assigned, and place it here as a husband. And what that means is you then share the benefit of the wife. Now normally in multiplayer that's more of an aggressive action, but in co-op and solitaire you can freely assign cubes as husbands to wives during the negotiations phase. But you need to be thoughtful about it, because these daughters are monogamous, they can't have more than one husband. But what I'd like to do for the green, for the Tunit, is marry to Sigrid. I can't take from here. These aren't hunters, remember, these are colonists. But I'm free to put this one here, and that means that for metallurgy I get to re-roll any 3s. And kind of completing the deal, if you like, I'd like to take one of the hunters from the Norse and marry him to Mika, a Tunit daughter. Now obviously the plus side is you get the benefit of the daughter, but you lose a hunter, because this is a permanent assignment. The other thing you can do in the negotiation attack phase, in lieu of attacking each other, raiding each other and making deals with each other, is you can have 2 cultures. You can only do this once. Swap these tokens, swap husbands, or indeed swap inventions. You can't swap domesticated animals, but if you've got any inventions in your tableau, you can swap them each for each other. So it might be 1 coin for an invention, or a husband for a piece of iron. Alright, so you can do that swapping around. We're good as we stand right now, so we're going to move right on to the roll for hunt phase.